Hello, and welcome to a special episode where I'm going to be exploring the essence of nutrition in tea. I have a lot of people that when they find me at a market or if I happen to be in one of the stores that's highlighting the Cape Breton Tea Company, many people will ask me, do you have this ingredient I know it's good for? And we can look at the herbs in that way, but the herbs really they want to be highlighted for their strengths, not really for how you want to use them with the priority you think is a priority. And so by doing this little episode, I want to share with you some of the value that can come out of thinking about herbs and thinking about tea in a completely different way. So I welcome you to the essence of nutrition in tea. I am tea artist and movement specialist, Dr. Michelle Greenwell, and I have been highlighting how tea can really enhance the way you live your life and the way you fulfill things with the energy and vitality that you want to be living by. You can see by just the opening cover, I do have an interest in dance. I also have an interest in Tai Chi. And the Cape Breton Tea Company is providing me with a great way to have conversations with people about their wellness. You can learn more about my podcast, Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell, by just going to the podcast on Buzzsprout, or you can find it on YouTube under @Michelle Greenwell. Just search for the podcasts. All right, so let's get started. So my resources, all of them are under my link tree, and it's under Dance Debut, but you can find, as I mentioned, the Tai Chi, the tea, the YouTube channels, the publications, they're all in one place. All you have to do is click on each of the links, anything that is of interest to you. And I hope this resource will be very helpful. So today what we're doing is we are highlighting CommuniTEA. This is a tea that I brought forward as a result of some work my own sister has been doing. Charlene Waynes has been highlighting the Moyo family in Malawi, Africa. And they are a family, currently there's 16 of them, with only a couple of adults to support all the children who've been orphaned by the different maladies that have gone through their village, but also some of the catastrophes with weather. And they've lost their home, so they've been living in a tent and with only a couple of mosquito nets. And so Charlene has, for the last 6 years, been learning about the family, trying to find ways to understand the challenges that they live by and the ways in which our knowledge and resources here in North America could be helping them if we know how to ask the right questions and if we also can listen to them as to how we can be of assistance and empowering them to be able to move forward with their day. So what we did is we created a special tea blend that would help those people who have access to the tea here in North America or abroad, because I do send further than that, but who are sipping away at a beverage. And that beverage could be supporting themselves in the herbs within the tea, but also could be supporting the Moyo family, because all the proceeds from the sales of this tea go to the Moyo family. And we've been highlighting ways that we can start to bring this family forward. And as we help them, their village is also helped, because we start to create a wave of knowledge, a wave of empowerment, and a wave of conversations, so that we can really start to understand those people in villages and areas of the world that just do not have resources. So let's look at the resource that's found within this special tea. So what you have on the screen right now is the ingredients related to this tea. And I'm going to hold my tea blend up so you can see it. It's a gorgeous color. And I've started putting my teas into a clear glass rather than in, I love to hold pottery and I love teacups. And they're great, But when I want to connect to the color of the tea, then I'm starting to put it into these beautiful different glasses and really celebrate the color and hold the color in my hands. There's a frequency that comes with color, and this is a great way to pick ourselves up. So I'm going to say cheers to you. Thank you for listening and being on this voyage and listening to what I want to share with you today. So I'm just going to have a little sip. There's a softness with this blend. So many people will ask me, do you have this ingredient? And I need help with sleep. I need help with de-stressing. I need help with digestion. All right, well, if you look at the ingredients within this tea, they can help all those things. But what is the priority that your body is looking for in its healing capacity? And if you're not looking for healing, but you're just looking for empowerment of energy and vitality in your day, how might these ingredients support you in that initiative and really lift you all day long, so that when your work day ends, you're not just tired and you go home and collapse, but you actually are lifted and nurtured all day long. So when you leave the office, or you leave your place where you spend most of the day, you actually feel empowered to do more in your day and to engage with more. So what we're doing here is bringing the garden to your teacup, and we're creating a delicious day for you to enjoy. How can you order and donate? I wanted to put this right at the front so you know that it's here. You can use these 2 QR codes. So there's Stephen Moyo's Mission for Change, which you can find on GoFundMe. And then you have the Cape Breton Tea Company, which is capebretontea.ca. Let's look at ingredients. So what I'm going to do is highlight just a couple today. And as these episodes release, you're going to see more and more start to happen. So our Mission for Change CommuniTEA has a focus in rose petals. Rose petals appear in a lot of different blends. I used them this year in several of my blends. The color is so vibrant. The smell is amazing. And we all know what it's like to just put our nose up to a flower and to be able to have that smell. And then think about how the bees buzz around those flowers, how much nourishment they pull from them to create the honey that we enjoy. Rose petals, when you see that bush blooming, it's so beautiful. And how do we celebrate special occasions like Mother's Day, Valentine's, birthdays? We often offer roses. So let's look at the intention behind this tea when we're looking at just the rose petals. And while we're doing that, you see in the bottom left corner, I have actually put an energy activity to help you be empowered by what I'm talking about today, and as you make the connection to rose petals. So what I invite you to do is just take your fingertips right now, very lightly. You're just going to put them at the base of the skull. Just at the base. Okay, it's about midway down the back of the head. And this is the neurovascular holding point for water, the water element, kidney and bladder. And this has to do with fear and anxiety. So we're just going to calm the system. You hold it there. And what I'm sharing with you now is rose petals. Nature's true beauty, the rose fills our senses with love and joy. There's a deep breath that accompanies the inhaling of the fragrance, while the color and the shape supports comforting and soothing our hearts and our souls. Gratitude is inspired by our time spent with the rose. Personal growth becomes possible when we're released and open to the sweetness of life and all that is possible around us. Isn't that beautiful? To know that as you've got that rose petal, you can see it in the herbs before you make the tea, and you can smell them when you open the package, and then you can smell them after the tea's made. It's such a beautiful connection. All right, so now if you just bring those fingertips away from the back of the skull, then I invite you to massage on either side of the nose. Okay, and this is going to be a neurolymphatic. And this one is for actually the end of the large intestine meridian. So this is a great way to inspire the opportunity to clear out toxins. And for anybody who has a plugged nose, this is a great spot to clear the sinuses and clear congestion. So we're just gonna do that little rub there. All right. And you see that symbol on the left that says tea with intention, 5 elements. So that little symbol, first of all, you've got the colors in a wheel there, 2 little wheels. And that is a time of day wheel. And that's when different organ systems in the body become empowered. And it's all represented by colors. So you can see where fire, the color of red, is empowering certain parts of the day. You can see where blue is for the water element. That's in the middle of the afternoon. And in the, let me see here. If you look on the yellow on the outside on the left, that is earth element, stomach, and spleen. It's first thing in the morning from 7 to 11 a.m. So that wheel is telling us a little bit about which systems are in flow at different times of the day. And then the tea with intention, when it says 5 elements, that means this particular tea has ingredients that represent all 5 elements and that we're able to balance the body just with that one tea. So that's pretty cool. But let's go to a second ingredient within the CommuniTEA. This is chamomile. And a lot of people will use chamomile to sip away at in the evening because they want to have it help them to calm and relax before going to bed. And it does do that. It does for some people, but not for everyone. And that depends on what kind of challenge you might have for going to sleep. So for those people that want to create a balanced system, chamomile is a part of this collection, but it's not the whole thing. It's working with other elements to bring balance and flow, again, to those 5 elements, to the systems in the body. So what I invite you to do now is cross your right foot over your left. I'm going to cross my right hand over my left as well. You can hook your fingers together if you like, or you can just cross them. And if you hook them, you can bring them in close to the chest. You can put them down into your lap. And if it's hard for you to connect your fingers, you can just cross the hands so the fingertips are going to end up by your shoulders. Okay, and just hold there. This is part of what's called Cook's Hookups, devised by Wayne Cook. And this is a great way to bring some balance to the systems and some flow. It's a nice calming thing to do. It's great for collecting thoughts too, especially if you're working on a presentation or a performance. So let's look at chamomile. The influences of our outer world are calmed and brought into perspective by the inner nature of this herb. It creates change and new patterns of being. It can assist in releasing fear and help us connect to the needs and the opportunities with others from within ourselves, not from our reaction to a situation. We can be contemplative and inspired into action that meets our needs and the needs of others in mutual respect. All right, so there's part 1 with Cook's Hookups, but now I'm going to invite you to put your feet side by side. Take your fingertips, put them together. You're going to put them in front of your belly button. And this is a great way to connect those 5 elements up. And I just want to bring around the idea of how sometimes in our desire to want to help other people, we often reach out quickly to help others before we'll help ourselves. And what this creates is an imbalance in energy flow in that we often give more than we have. And if you know about getting onto a plane and making sure you put your oxygen mask on first before you put the oxygen mask on the person beside you, that's the safety speech that they give us. It's the same in our lives. We need to have the energy and vitality built within us in order for us to reach out without depleting ourselves. And it's important that when we reach out, we don't reach out because we have this reaction to a situation that makes us do an outreach, but we actually contemplate and think about how we can reach out the most effective way and how best to support ourselves in that process so we don't run out of energy. Chamomile is a way for us to do that. Now this changes your thought from, I just want to have a good sleep. Now chamomile has a much deeper meaning. It's a lot more powerful for you to realize how it helps you to contemplate and how it allows you the space and the time to engage and then make recommendations or take action. So we're at the end of part 2 of Cook's Hookups, and I'm hoping that you're really feeling connected now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 ingredients that we've just worked with, so the rose petals and the chamomile, and what is the relationship they have together. Now I've only pulled 2 ingredients from this tea. We still have a lot of explorations to do over the coming videos that you're going to see, but for right now, just these 2 ingredients, how do they work together? Well, with this one, I'm going to get you again to put your fingertips together. You can place them in front of your belly button, which connects your 5 elements. You can place it in front of your heart, which gives you a connection to your heart center. Or if you're looking for some incentive, the third eye or the brow chakra, just put your fingertips up at your forehead. So I'm going to bring mine to my heart. And I'm going to look at rose and chamomile, and they're allies. They work together. Together their message is, our passion to assist is brought forward for ourselves first in a contemplative, loving way that provides for reflection of our inner needs with a desire to help. Our joy and understanding of our role in the world are expanded by the release of fear and old patterns or thoughts through the pause of time created by this special herbal relationship. So as you're holding there, I'm just going to hold that tea blend back up again so you can see its color. Connect. And as you think about how having a sip of tea can stop you in time, give you the space to think about where you want to go next, and how connecting with these 2 ingredients can really empower you. Okay, I'm hoping that's much calmer. Usually when I'm doing these kinds of recordings and I'm working with the energy tools, you can hear my voice at the start and you can hear my voice at the end, because I also transition as we're going through. These energy techniques are amazing. So I want to introduce you to the Moyle family. This is a picture of the kids. It's not all of them, because some of them weren't present when the picture was able to be taken. But some of them are now orphans because they've lost their parents to the different ailments that have come through. Malaria is a huge one, but also we had the pandemic and we lost several to COVID. And so these children are working together to support each other for food and security. And they have a great initiative for understanding how to garden and how to raise livestock. And one of the boys who actually is sick at the moment and is in hospital, he was instrumental at 10 years old to build a birdhouse, to put some doves in so that they could have some protein, and he was helping his younger relatives learn how to take care of those doves. So this family is the family that we're connected to, and that my sister has spent many, many hours texting and listening to the messaging that comes through from this incredible family. And some of the kids actually have been named as a result of the work that Charlene has been doing with them, which is incredible. So what can your purchase of a bag of tea create in change? So now you know about just 2 ingredients and how they can change you, but let's see how you can change others. So if you buy a small bag, it's $15. $15 can provide hand soap for disinfecting, a few packets of seeds for the garden. It could be a hand sanitizer, could be notebooks, pencils, pens for school. The children had no supplies this year to go to school, and they're so desperate to learn. They're very interested in science and math, and they want to know about our world. They want to know about what's happening in the world. They're very excited to learn, but it's very difficult with no resources. But let's look at if you wanted to buy a larger bag. A large bag of tea is $25, and it could buy 1 mosquito net for 1 person for sleeping. Right now they have 3, and they're sharing. That hasn't worked out so well because malaria, of course, goes through, and one of the boys is in hospital right now. $25 could buy an entire week's worth of maize to help feed the family. It could also be sanitary products for women. This is a huge problem in underdeveloped countries. It's such a luxury for us, but for them, sanitary pads are not possible. We really hope, and our ambition is to create permanent sanitary products for all of the females in the family so that they can respectfully take care of themselves and also do it in the best way possible without having to use disposable. And lastly, we're looking at corn seeds. They want to be able to grind the flour to feed the family. They eat a lot of corn, so when we put together, say if there were 4 bags of tea purchased, that would be enough for 3 or 4 weeks for 2 meals a day to feed the whole family. That's huge. There are many times that they need to go to the hospital, and the hospital can be at least $100 per trip. They don't live close by. They'd have to walk. When you're sick, the last thing you want to do is walk. And for them, they may have to walk 14, 15 kilometers to get to the closest help. And for some, they may have to ride on the back of a bicycle to get there. It's very difficult for them to get to care. As the daily crises come up, Charlene tries to deal with those with the funds that are available and tries to support them. And our ambition is to be able to rebuild their home. The bricks were made of mud the first time, and when the tsunami came through, it wiped out the entire village and all the homes. So what we're looking at doing is building something with a concrete brick a little bit higher up on the ground so it has a better chance of surviving any tsunami or torrential downpours during the rainy season, but also then those bricks are there to be accessible, to be reused, or hopefully to hold that home together. So this is the goal, this is where we're heading, and as part of the Mission for Change CommuniTEA, we hope that you'll enjoy sipping on this tea, sharing it with other people, providing the way for this Moyle family to go forward, and for you to start to really take care of yourself, to think about how these herbs are nurturing you and helping you to make really good decisions about your own self-care and wellness. So again, if you'd like to order, you are very welcome to use the QR codes here. Stephen Moyle's Mission for Change you can find on GoFundMe, and the Cape Breton Tea Company website does host this tea, and the proceeds do go back to the family, and that's the capebretontea.ca if you're looking for the website. Thank you so much for listening to this first part. Your fingertips, where they have been, I hope you're feeling actually energized and ready to go with some new ideas. And I look forward to sharing the next video with you as we dive deeper into this incredible tea. Thank you so much.